Hello and welcome to a new episode of Connected from Home, where we choose to stay safe yet refuse to be disconnected. We connect with different people from all around the world, get to know more about them, seek inspiration, and have fun. In this episode of Connected from Home, we'll get to know how yoga is helping combat poverty in Africa. We're featuring today the Africa Yoga Project, a nonprofit organization amplifying African voices on the yoga space. Jolie Oma will be joining us today. She's the Academy and Learning Coordinator of the organization. Hello, Julie. Thank you for being with us in this episode of Connected from Home. And we're excited and very interested in the Africa Yoga Project. We want to hear more about it. We want to learn more. Actually, explain the idea to Bahrain International TV's audience.
Well, thank you so much for having us here as Africa Yoga Project. We are happy to be connecting with people from Bahrain. So this is a new experience for us. Yes, so Africa Yoga Project, what we do is work with youth from marginalized communities. And we use the practice of yoga to empower them to have economic sustainability, meaning they can be able to provide for themselves, their families, and their communities, and even go a step further to impact the general health and well-being from where they come from.
I know that this project has a very interesting story. How did it start?
Yeah.
I want to listen to it from you.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I joined this project in 2016, but it has been in existence or it has been alive since about 2009. So, what happened is our founder, Paige Ellenson, she traveled with her family to Kenya on safari. And so they were enjoying themselves on safari, and she happened upon a group of acrobats, and they were doing handstands and everything. She thought, oh, those guys are doing yoga. And so when she approached them and had a conversation with them, she found out that they were actually acrobats and they were doing the acrobatic routine. And she shared with them that I'm a yoga teacher and we do similar things in the yoga practice. And so they started a conversation and they started, communicating even when she went back home in New York. And they still continued, like, come back and teach us this yoga. We are interested. We are curious. And so it just started by her, like, just communicating and sending videos. And they're like, no, we want to learn what it's about. So a short time later, she decided, let me come back and just do it. And so she came back and she was able to connect with a group of female acrobats. They were called the Ghetto Girls. And that's how they started. Just a small group of people, and they were able to enjoy and have the practice together. I think internationally, we all remember the the post-election violence that happened in Kenya. That's in our election, the 2007. And at that point, they thought we should do a peace concert. And when they did this concert, they were able to get so many people involved and interested in what yoga was because they were able to share that practice at the time. And then finally, it came to the point where we said, let's have it as a regular practice. And so it started slowly by slowly. Then we realized we should be sharing this with the community. And so the first group of yogis were actually going back into the communities they come from. Many of them were starting from very low income communities, and they started practicing yoga and sharing that practice. But we saw this is a really good opportunity. And we thought, let's have a proper training and have everyone involved so that they can be able to offer quality training. And not just in their communities, they can now be able to earn an income from it. And that's how it generated.
And then you started to make headlines. Africa Yoga Project is starting to decrease poverty in Africa. This is huge. So how does it improve the quality of lives?
Well, I'll give like the story of the general, shall I say, trajectory of somebody who comes into the teacher training. So in most scholarship programs, the idea is to look for, the best of the best, the cream of the crop, so to speak. But for Africa Yoga Project, we are looking for the forgotten ones. We're looking for the people who may not have that much access to uh, education, because many of our teachers have not been to university. Very few have. And even though they've been to university, there are no jobs available based on their training. So what happens is we start with somebody from a low income area, somebody who's coming from a marginalized position, who has no employment opportunities coming their way. And then we have them coming to a scholarship program. So the Africa Yoga Project Academy is a scholarship program where they now apply to come into the program. And we check on very different things. What level of education do they have? Are they somebody who is able to find their way, or is it somebody who is really in need of an opportunity to get this? So we are gauging the level of need. We are gauging how interactive are they with their own communities. Are they involved in what's happening day to day? We also look at, are they also interested in learning? Because sometimes we have people who are not aware of yoga and what it can do, and some of them come in being aware of that already. So we also have to strike that balance and see if it's something that they can really carry on. So the first step is a 2 to 3 week resident program, and they come in and they have the basic training, the 200-hour training. From this training, they're able to leave to be able to teach a 90-minute journey into power class. The style of yoga that we teach is called Baptist Power Yoga, and the practice is called Journey into Power, JIP. So by the time they leave the training, they can be able to lead a class, a 90-minute class on their own very well. Now, that's not the end of it. That's just the first part. After that, the people who have already come for the training and they've paid for the training can go ahead and continue to teach. But for us, we sort of have the people in the program give back to the communities they've come in. We are very, very interested in giving back to the community. And so they go back into the communities they come from, and they continue to teach yoga for free, meaning anybody can come into that class and practice. So this allows them to build their teaching practice, to build their professionalism, and also encourages them an opportunity to be an entrepreneur, because they have to solve problems on their own. How am I getting people to come and practice? How am I talking to them? So we're very big on experiential learning. And then at this point, we tell them we are going to guide you. We're going to offer you training. So they come in and they do a training, and the training lasts about 3 years. So the first year is completely dedicated to the basics of yoga, the methodology that we teach, how to fix the practice for different people. Like we have people who do kids yoga, prenatal yoga, yoga for people who are living with cancer, and different variations of yoga. And then now we are able to tell them, now let's work on the professional skills. How do you do a proper email? How do you work on your social media? How do you network? How do you do a proposal? And things like that. And in the last year, we go through a process of an internship where they now take all that they've learned in the academy and they go to a different organization or a different place and they practice it for a period of 6 months. At that point, this person can now graduate and they are able to carry on their lives.
So, highlighting the importance of the project. Why is that much needed in Africa?
It's much needed because if you think about the global well-being economy, it's a massive, massive economy. If you think about like the economy in the US, it's almost $1 trillion US. But I remember doing my research and I would read and it would say, North America, it would say Asia, it would say all these places. And then there was a grouping called LAMEA. It's like all the other places. And all of that together has a very, very, very low, shall I say, economic return on well-being in general, wellness and well-being industry. So we only lay claim to about 0.6, about $6 billion. So that's barely scratching the surface of what we are capable of. So that in itself creates like an opportunity for us as Africa Yoga Project to give quality training and have that people who are trained by us be involved in the well-being community. It's actually part of our theory of change. We believe that if you complete the Africa Yoga Project Academy, then you can be able to be a positive influence in your community, positive civic engagement, that you actually contribute to the well-being value chain, and you're able to also increase your income as well as you do it. So given the economy as it stands, there's a very, very big opportunity for growth. And now to be able to have that growth be homegrown in a context that actually appeals to the people that it's supposed to work for.
Speaking of growth, you are based in Kenya, but you have impacts around the world. Tell me more.
Yes. So yes, we are based in Nairobi, Kenya, where most of our operations are. And we have partners, again, all around the world. But in terms of teachers, actual people who have come through the training and have either completed the training or are in the training, we have teachers in 22 African countries. So all over North Africa, Southern Africa, East and West Africa, we have representation of people who've been through the training. And then we also have our partners and our donors who now also spread out. So we have a very big donor community in the US, in Europe, and now we're also having partners coming in from South America that we've been working with. So yes, it is Africa Yoga Project, but we are connecting with the world. Yes.
Some people say you would never know the power of yoga unless you experience it. Its impact on your body, your soul, everything. So maybe some people are thinking about practicing yoga, for example, and this can encourage them. So tell us, what is the importance of practicing yoga and what is the impact on a human's body, mind, and soul?
There are lots of misconceptions about yoga in general. And so it's good for you to experience it for yourself so that you can really make that honest judgment if this is for me or if it's not for me. And for me and majority of many other teachers in the program, it's been really amazing. In our last survey of 2019, we've had a great increase just because of yoga, the importance of yoga on people's lives. So we have like employability. We have close to between 77% and 89% of the people in the program having employable income even after they graduate. They're able to live and they're doing it in the well-being industry. We have others who diversified and gone to like, IT and have gone to like different economies or different industries. But 89% have employable and have stable income in the well-being industry. And then to go further, last year alone, we were able to reach about 21,000 people, 21,000 classes in Africa. And that translates to about almost 200,000 people practicing in the course of 1 year. So we are getting people out there and we are working with them. And then to go further, they're in these communities, they are teaching, and so they're contributing to the well-being value chain. Again, because you're working with people who are marginalized, there's a lot of trauma and mental health issues that need to be addressed. And so in last year, when we were doing the survey, we thought, let's look at mental health. Are we really seeing an improvement? And we saw a 98% of our respondents said that they felt that their mental health was improved. Their coping, their ability to engage with the community in a positive life improved. And I think that is really the star number. If you can be able to sustain yourself and you can be happy about it and feel good about it, I think that's really important. So yoga in and of itself as a practice is very impactful. One, because the physical changes that you'll notice. And it's very easy to do. Like, for example, you'll go into that class, like for me in the advanced class, the very first day I could barely do anything. But come down the line, 3 years later, I am able to do all that I was able to do and even more. So in very simple things like posture, in very simple things like, energy levels, things like that, we've seen improvements. And then even in the frequency of class, you have somebody who wants to achieve a certain goal. So for example, somebody would come to me and say, I want to do a perfect push-up. And so that's something you can actually be able to physically see and track. Or somebody says, I want to be able to do a headstand. And you see, at the end of it, it's like, I can't do a headstand now. And a week later, or however long it takes, I'm able to do a headstand. So something I really enjoy about yoga is that you can see the progress. You can see somebody growing. And it starts from very simple things like holding the pose for a number of breaths, but you're working on your strength, your physical strength, and also your mental strength. Because sometimes when you're in a pose and you're staying for long, your mind wants to get you out. But now it's also that practice of, do you want to stay? And you don't hurt yourself, but you want to stay in order to strengthen yourself. So we are very big on being careful so that we don't cause injuries. You want to you want to challenge yourself, but you don't want to go past your limits.
Yes.
And so we have balance.
Can we elaborate on the injury part? Because I've heard that yoga increases your elasticity and makes you less liable to getting your bones fractured. Is that true?
Okay, so there has been research done, and again, it really, really depends again on the person, because it is a practice. So I think sometimes there's the idea that if I go for 2 yoga classes, that's good, then I'm good. So yoga is a practice that you go with and you move with. It has been proven to improve elasticity in the joints. It has been proved to improve muscle tone and muscle building. It has been proven to do all that. But again, you have to look at it as a practice. The same way we say, like even before you drive a car, you have to be in there, you have to practice, you have to do it before you can go ahead. And for yoga, it's a lifetime thing. So people who really see the benefits of yoga are people who have a regular practice. Mm-hmm. Yes, we do have like short-term benefits. There are people who come to a yoga class and it's more a practice for their mind than it is in their body. And if you think about it, a lot of trauma or a lot of experience happen in our physical body, but we don't always address them with our physical body. So yoga is an opportunity to express that. In terms of reducing the chances of injury, we've had like lots of famous people, like footballers, people like Mo Salah, who has been practicing yoga, people like Lionel Messi, and you see they have been using it as a tool to supplement their training and to become more flexible and also reduce injuries. So it has to be a practice that goes on and on.
So when do you advise that a person starts practicing yoga? Like since she's a child, or when? Is it too late for me?
Anyone we say yoga is for every single body. Everybody can do yoga. Okay. Yeah. So well, like I think the earliest, my daughter started trying to do yoga at about 3 years of age. Oh, nice. And even before that, because she would see me practice and try the moves herself. Yeah. So and I think I've read of a 94-year-old, I think somewhere in the US, who practices yoga. So really, yoga is for every single person. If you have a body, you can do yoga.
Oh, nice. That's a nice quote. Okay, but I think it makes a difference when you grow up practicing yoga, right? Mm. It makes a difference, maybe in your character and in your like whole body well-being.
It does make a difference. I've experienced it for myself, and I'm so lucky to be in an environment where that yoga plays a role, because we are able to practice together with my colleagues. We're able to work together on those principles, and I really feel like it has improved the quality of my work, like just in general. Like if you take away like the day-to-day, the reporting, the meetings, and all that, I feel like I've improved in that professionally because I have this practice of yoga. So yoga is a very a versatile tool that you can use and plug it into your life. There's no one way for everyone.
The Africa Yoga Project is very active. How are you dealing with the COVID-19 outbreak? Did it affect your activities?
Yes, it has affected our activities a lot. One, because again, we were so used to being in a community and being together. But of course, we had to stop that so that we can reduce the spread of COVID. So what we've done is that we've moved all our programming online. So if you're in Bahrain and you'd like to practice with Africa Yoga Project, that's very possible. So we've moved all our programming online. And it has challenges because in many of the communities we work with, many people don't have enough access to, online materials. And so we had to think that while we are doing the classes, what can we give to our communities who've been there for us and have been practicing with us? So we've started fundraising to be able to support and give COVID-19 relief items. So we've been able to give food items, we've been able to give water. So we've been fundraising, doing yoga classes and using those funds. In the month of August, we were able to provide about 84,000 liters of water for people who didn't have access to water.
Wow.
We're able to provide about 15,000 kilograms of 15,000 kilograms of rice and things like that. And then an additional 21,000 kilos of dry foods. We've been able to provide sanitary towels, things like that, personal protective equipment, and even soaps and sanitizers to be able to support our communities who are going through a really tough time right now.
Yes.
And yeah, so we're able to now share that with our communities because we cannot be there in person to practice yoga with them. And that has really impacted because now our teachers, what we do, we give a grant to each one of our teachers and say, here's a certain amount of money. Go into your community and find out what do they need most right now. And then work in the local community to provide that. So instead of getting food from one area and taking it there, we want to contribute to the economy of that area. So if I am a teacher living in Kakuma, I would go to the person who sells these foods in Kakuma and then now provide it for the people living there. So that's something we've been doing. And then we've also taken all our programming online. So we are able now to work with our teachers and they're still able to get the academic content and training while online. So we are happy that our donors and well-wishers have continued funding us because we are 100% donor funded. And so we are able to provide them data, like we send airtime to them so they can get a data bundle and be able to participate in the academy.
Yes, that's actually great. We're really proud of what you're doing. And really, 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 it touched me. So I wish you all the best and keep on shining and keep on having this great impact on Africa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invite. We are so happy to hear from you guys and to have access to this whole new community of people. So anyone who is interested can find us on social media, Africa Yoga Project. Even if you type it into Google, you will find us. Yeah. We are the only ones in existence. So Africa Yoga Project, find us. Let's have a conversation, touch with us, and we'll see. We'll have a conversation. Just find out for yourself about what we're doing. And if you'd like, get involved. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And I think Bahrain International TV's audience will be very curious now about the Yoga Africa project. And yeah, maybe they'd start joining your classes.
Yeah, you're welcome to. We have regular classes daily in the weekdays. And then we also have like special classes. We have a Yoga Sutras class, which focuses on the philosophies of yoga. So if you're interested in learning what those are, you can be able to join that class. We also have classes where we break down the practices step by step. And right now we are in the period of opening, which works a lot in the hips, because in this time of uncertainty, we store a lot of stress in our hips. So that class is specifically catered to really work on that so you can just have some sort of relief in the day. But don't worry, all those links we'll be able to share with you guys, and you'll be able to see them on our social media pages or even if you reach out to us.
That's great. Thank you. I think I'm going to sign up for a class myself. Thank you so much. Yes. And it's a great pleasure having you with us in this episode of Connected from Home and shedding light on the Africa Yoga Project and the great impact it has on Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best to you guys. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate it too. Thanks. This is the end of today's episode of Connected from Home. See you next week with new features and guests from all around the world.